Hey guys, and welcome into another edition of In the Booth with Earl Hall. Got funny guy Timothy here with me on today. We're going to be talking about some controversy and a little bit of stuff about what's going on in the voiceover industry, especially from the character perspective. Let's talk about it. So the big question is this: how do voiceover artists like us who are looking to take our careers to the next level but don't buy into the claims of needing expensive equipment and demos, start bringing in new clients? How do you follow a clear path to changing your voiceover side hustle into your full-time job and stick it to those that said you couldn't? Those are the questions, and this podcast will give you the answers. My name is Earl Hall, and welcome to In the Booth with Earl Hall, where we know how to grind and don't quit. All right, everyone, welcome back into this edition of In the Booth with Earl Hall. Special guest, funny guy Timothy. I just call him funny guy from this on. How you doing today, guy? Welcome to the show.
I'm good. You're gonna call me Guy? That's
funny
my
guy.
name.
You're the funny guy. Yeah. You know, well,
first thing, I gotta say, I need an intro for mine. I really need an intro.
You need an intro?
I mean, all I have is that wavy funny guy Timmy written thing.
But that's
and
cool,
then just
though.
music.
But actually that's a really decent intro. It's quick and to the point.
Okay.
It's quick and to the point, and you get right into your show. So
I mean, that's what I like to do. I like to just go right in there.
Well, yeah, that's what she said. When we first met, actually, you had me on your YouTube show last week, which was amazing and fun, and had a lot of fun doing that. And you've given me some help with my own personal character demo that I just released over this past weekend and things of that nature. You know, you just ripped my first one completely apart. And in a live coaching session, he just ripped my demo apart.
I just put on my glasses and like...
Yeah. It's like, do you really think you can do
monocle.
this? You know, are you really a VO, or you just
those long stick cigarettes and like a wine? Well,
amazing. Look, we got to tackle this, because when I was on your show and you posted the show just over the weekend, you posted the show, and you got a troll. Actually, my first troll.
Your first troll.
My very first troll that happened months ago came onto your page because I guess he's just, or she, it could be a he or she, it could be a 10-year-old kid.
I think it's a guy. I'm pretty sure it's a guy. Just the kind of content that was posted and just the way the person types and messages seems like a very aggressive dude. Just
sitting in his
way
mom's
they write.
basement, drinking Hennessy or something. Maybe snorting
crazy.
some crack or heroin or whatever. But so you had to deal with this troll that I had months ago. And it was funny because I was telling you when he first came on, because I do live mostly, and he came onto my live stream and I made the statement, oh my gosh, I've made it. I've got my first freaking troll. I've officially made it on
Your own
YouTube.
Pepe.
Exactly. I've been waiting for years for this to happen, and it finally happened. So anyway, he finds the video of the interview you did of me last week and just starts going in, which is always amazing to me that people have time to do that, but they're supposed to be a professional in an industry, but they have all this time to do all this trolling. It's amazing to me.
I got up and I saw that there was 50-something messages on that one video, and I was like, there's no way. Because at that point there was only like 100 views, and I was like, that would be like,
is Earl
every
that
person
good? He's got
I was like, there's no way. I was like, there's no way more comments than views. And so I went on, and then there was just one block that was like 40-something comments, and then this person was just huge soliloquy paragraphs.
Yeah, you sent it
you.
over to me. It was like, oh my gosh, this guy has spent some time.
Went to town, and everyone else was like, great interview, Earl Hall, good guy, Tim, thanks for the content, please release more. And this is just one guy just kept going, and I was reading all of his stuff, and first of all caps, all highlights, all italicized. He used every button on his keyboard that he could find. And I was reading it, and I tried like asking him questions. I tried like finding out where he's getting this information.
Yeah.
He was saying stuff like you were a hack or a con artist and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And I was asking, I was like, did you like try getting coaching from him, and then just he charged you too much and then you just didn't get anything from it? Would not respond to a single question, not a single comment. And so, and then just kept going, just no information, just kept like con artist. And so I went to his page, and almost every single one of his videos, which aren't actually his videos, he just rips videos from other people.
Okay.
All of his videos, he had pretty much all of them, he had disabled the likes and dislikes and all the comments, which is always a sign of a genuine troll, because they just can't take criticism themselves.
Yeah.
And all the ones that they hadn't disabled the thumbs down was just all thumbs down pretty much. And the person was just like wars, chemtrails, 9/11 kind of stuff.
Oh wow.
Yeah. So this person had clearly the kind of conspiracy mentality. There's some name for it. There's a type of personality where some people are very easily accept conspiracies. They just automatically jump to conspiracies, and I believe that that's what this person had. I don't know if it's like a condition or if it's just an upbringing or whatever, but this person was very into conspiracies, and so I'm guessing that's why they just attacked you. I also wouldn't be surprised if this is not the first person that they've attacked, and unfortunately I try not to turn off comments or hide people. If anybody leaves any nasty comments, I always leave them up.
You just leave them up.
Especially when if they're attacking me, I leave it up.
If they attack our audience, that's another thing.
If they attack audiences,
attack me, that's fine. I can take it.
I will go in there. My oldest videos, most of it is just nonstop criticism, and I just take it. But this one, it just went on so long, and they were just insulting other people that were coming in and trying to like defend you or ask questions. And I reported them for harassment and abuse. I hid and deleted their comments, and I blocked them from my channel. So hopefully that'll be the last time they come back. But yeah, it was a very, very interesting experience. To say the least.
It was for me too, because I've seen live streams, unfortunately, where a troll will come on and they just fluster the host. They just fluster the crap out of them. And I guess because I've done radio a while and all that other kind of stuff, and it just literally I was waiting for it. I knew it would happen one day, especially because I'm live a lot.
Right.
So I guess I was just ready. That's why it like excited me that you can see it in that show. Oh my God, I got my first troll. I've literally made it. I'm here.
This is amazing.
I have arrived.
My thing, I used to actually get really depressed by criticism and trolls when I first started YouTube. It actually really depressed me and bummed me out. But over time, I actually started getting better at taking criticism and being able to joke about myself and make more fun of myself than anyone else could. If I'm more critical on myself and I have worse things to say about myself than anyone else can, they can't hurt me. Basically, is my thing. And I just very jokingly about it. I had so many people like try to troll me and try to like constantly saying that I was gay and stuff like that. There was like this one guy that used to come on like constantly saying that I was gay, and I was like, "Gay for you, winky face." Yeah. And then they stopped. Yeah. It was so crazy. Like they kept like saying that I was a cub, which is I don't remember what it was, but I was like a cub looking for a bear. Yeah.
Is that like a furry thing? A furry fetish?
It's something in the gay community. It's like gay guys that are like really macho and have beards or something like that. But it was weird, and so that's my tactic now, is to really like kind of like accept it. And then I've had people like try to like spam their stuff on there. Sure. And if it's lighthearted or if it's kind of like covert and it's not like, hey, come see my channel, and that's their only comment, then if they do that, then I'm just getting rid of it. You didn't even watch the video. You're just trying to get free publicity. And if you want to engage, that's fine. Engage. I'll have a conversation with you. Maybe I'll do an interview with you. Exactly. But if you're just posting, hey, check out my stuff, go away. Yeah, just go away. So. I mean, it's an interesting point, because being a VO, we all deal with that arena of being judged and criticized basically through auditions that we get or don't get. Constantly. So you've got to have that thick skin anyway.
in this type of performance art because you just never know what gigs you're going to get and what gigs you're not. It's like a coin toss, you know, a lot of the times. But especially in what it is that you do in the character arena, tell us a little bit about how is it that you got into doing like character video game apps and things of that nature, because that's your wheelhouse.
Okay, well, it started out okay, my first day job. What a lot of people have trouble understanding about me is before the age 18, I was shy and didn't talk to anybody, and I didn't make eye contact.
Okay.
It's always something that's and it was also during the period when I was like really like quiet and depressed and sad a lot. I was a teenager. They're all like that.
Sure.
And I had a day job, and I worked with a dude named Zach, who was hilarious.
Okay.
I will remember this guy till the day I die. He was hilarious, and he was very open. He was into independent filmmaking and stuff like that. And he was like the first real friend that I had like really made as an adult.
Okay.
And he really got me to like, get out of my shell. And he found out that I did impressions and did voices. And he encouraged me to like do a YouTube channel where I did impressions and stuff like that. And that's why like the third video that I ever made was an impression video.
Gotcha.
Then he encouraged me to do stand up as I got more and more, out of my shell and more goofy. He encouraged me to do stand up and do impressions in the stand up. So my first comedy bit that I ever did was me making fun of George W. Bush.
Oh, wow.
And it went over so well. It was actually a huge hit. People loved it. It was hilarious. And after getting off stage, I went outside and threw up. And then, after that, the second time I ever tried doing stand-up, I tried not doing impressions and I ate it. It's the worst fail of my comedy career.
Oh, wow.
And so, and then after that, I was like, I need to really focus on these impressions because I got nothing. So after that, I started doing, a lot more YouTube with impressions. And then I found out that there was this app. This was back at the time with like the Razr. The flip phone Razr.
Yeah. That was like the hottest cell phone at the time. Oh my gosh.
It was like the first iPhone had just come out and people were like, what the heck is that?
Yeah.
And so the Razr was the big one. And at that time, there wasn't like getting on the internet kind of thing and downloading stuff onto your phone.
Yeah.
So there was this website where you could buy ringtones. And so what I was doing is, because I had a microphone, and I was recording me doing the impressions, saying little things as ringtones. And that was really the first getting into voiceover that I ever really technically done.
Okay.
I went back and I listened to some of that stuff, and that is trash. It is absolute trash. The site is down, and you can't find the profile anymore, and I'm so happy. But I stumbled upon those things, and I was like, why am I still alive?
Right.
But then after that, I moved into my own apartment, and I got away from environmental noise, and I was able to actually like really do impressions and videos and voiceover. Okay. And I had a friend who also did a George W. Bush. He lived in LA. His name is Philip Wilburn. He's one of my all-time heroes, even though nobody knows who he is. He does a lot of like impressions and voiceover and acting, and does comedy and sketches, and he's relatively unknown, but he does a lot of like stuff for like the Tonight Shows, like Jimmy Kimmel and stuff like that. I think he's like one of the Donald Trump impersonators for Jimmy Kimmel.
Oh, wow. Okay.
But anyway, we started chatting on YouTube, and he started really encouraging. He was like, hey, you should try out voices.com, Voice123. And I tried those out. And one of the first things that I auditioned to, I think it was the second thing I auditioned for, was College Humor. And they needed a Daffy Duck for one of their sketches.
Oh, gosh.
And I had never done a Daffy Duck before.
That's my Daffy Duck.
That's Donald.
That's Donald Duck. You see, okay, wait a minute, Daffy Duck. Are they all the same? Aren't they all?
No. Daffy Duck is from Warner Brothers. The Black Duck. There we go.
The black one. Yep.
The Black Duck. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. He was in Black Panther, I think, too. But
because they had all the black characters in it. So they were looking for someone to do a Daffy Duck, and I didn't really do a Daffy Duck impression. So what I did is I went and I watched a whole bunch of videos of Mel Blanc, the original Daffy Duck, and then the guy who took it over immediately after Mel Blanc.
A lot of
And I was
spitting. He
watching
does a lot of spitting.
a lot of spitting, but they had two different approaches to it.
Okay.
If you actually listen to it, there's actually two different ways that they did the voice. It was like a different way that they would put the lisp. I think the guy who took it over after him, I can never remember his name. He's a great voice actor. He passed away a while ago.
Oh, wow.
But I could, he put it was more of a, more up front as opposed to Mel Blanc, who did it like a little bit further back. And so I tried to find something that was like in between the two. That was easy for me to do. That sounded like Daffy Duck, but was a little bit more an original Daffy Duck for me. And I did that, and they immediately contacted me an hour after my audition.
Wow.
And they booked me. It was the first time I had signed a Screen Actors Guild thing. It's complicated in Screen Actors Guild because you can do 3, if I remember correctly, you can do 3 SAG jobs without being
in the union. Yeah, before you got to sign. Yeah.
You have to sign. So that was my first one, and I think I had like 2 more after that. And at this point, it's like I'm either SAG or I'm not.
Gotcha.
Which at this point in my career, it doesn't matter to me.
Okay.
But that was my first one. But unfortunately, the sketch never went up. It never went live.
Wow.
They ended up going with a completely different read, a completely different take long down the line, which was frustrating because this was like my first real gig that I didn't have a copy of, that I couldn't get for my demo. And I liked the script. The script was hilarious. But immediately after doing that, I was like, I need to take this way more seriously.
Sure.
I need to really put some more time and more energy into and that was when after that, I immediately put up, a more proper booth, with, I made it out of that hinged, it was a hinged scaffolding piece. It was like aluminum.
Okay.
So really lightweight. Now, of course, nowadays I listen to it and I can hear the aluminum, the hollow aluminum, because that's just how much better at audio I am. So if I'm listening,
because you can hear,
yeah, I should have had a layer between that and me. But so after that, I did that, and then I just kept doing the impressions, and then I moved to Austin, and then I found Fiverr because I needed extra money. I moved to Austin, and I just needed
Fiverr.
I said Fiverr. Oh my
god. Oh my god.
Which Fiverr has come a long ways. Fiverr has come a long ways. I was one of the first people really doing like impressions on Fiverr. Now there was a rough period between now and then when I started that I just didn't tell people that I was on Fiverr.
Yeah. Because you didn't want to get beat in the street and dragged.
I didn't want to get beaten by the professional voice actors that I've never heard of.
Yeah.
And yes, when Fiverr first came out, they didn't actually have intention for voice actors to actually be on their platform. They just had it where you could do anything on there. They were like, go for it, go crazy. And then voice actors went on Fiverr and then started saying, hey, I'll do, this for $5.
Yeah, I've got my professional headset mic, plugged in.
Right. My Sony PlayStation microphone that'll do your stuff. And they were making a little bit of money, and I put on there doing impressions because no one else was really doing impressions on there. And that was the thing that I really, soared at. And my big thing, it used to be George W. Bush. I was getting so much work doing George W. Bush.
Wow.
And then after that, I put up, a Christopher Walken. People love the Christopher Walken, and I did all these other ones, and so I started getting that. And then eventually, there was some professional who found out that I was on Fiverr, and then just berated me. They just sent me emails,
of course,
telling me to just stop and give up and basically leave the industry.
Yeah, kill yourself.
Basically kill myself.
Kill yourself.
And so for a while, I actually backed away from Fiverr. I stopped, and I took some time away from it, and I tried seriously getting into the industry the way you're supposed to get into the industry, and no one was happy. Nobody cared.
Yep.
Nobody wanted to work with me. I had, up to this point, from the age of 18 to now, I think I have sent in over 20,000 headshots and demos.
Wow.
But the last few years I've just stopped.
That's the grind and don't quit. That's the grind and don't quit right there.
I only got one acting agent. I've got a whole. I think I got like 3 comedy agents. So I got 1 acting agent, no voiceover, and it's the thing that I'm the best at as far as like if you were to line up all my skills, it's the thing that I'm the best at. Nobody wants to work with me. As far as like being an agent, because everyone can take a coaching class, and then they use their coaches, their credentials, and they have the studio and the microphone, and they have a professionally produced demo, and so they're getting the front billing, even if they've never actually done any work. So I was like, you know what? Screw this. You guys don't want to play fair with me.
Yep.
I don't care about you guys.
Feel you.
I don't care for the Screen Actors Guild. So I went back to Fiverr, and at this point, when I had come back, Fiverr had changed.
Okay.
Fiverr had changed to where it was no longer you can only charge $5. They were like, you have to charge something for $5.
Yeah.
But due to the fact that we're getting so much business, we want to make this a bigger and better platform for the talent on the platform. Instead of just tailoring to the customers, which is what they started out doing. Exactly. We want to actually tailor to our talent, because this has now become a lot of people's home and bread and butter. So they made it more of a genuine platform for voiceover. You can now charge professional industry prices, which is something that a lot of people don't understand.
Let me tap into that right there, because
ding 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 ding.
Yeah. I had
listen to me, brother.
Yeah. For a long time been telling people, look, do not post your Fiverr stuff on social media and try and be a professional voice actor at the same time with your own website, because you cheapen yourself. I literally in the past 3 days have come around to saying, because you can charge industry standard rates on Fiverr, and if you charge the same rates on Fiverr that you charge on your website, go for broke. Just go for it. Because if, some voice actors have a problem with, how to promote and do certain things or whatever. The only other thing, the other reason that I told people not to share their links on Fiverr is because when someone clicks on that link and goes to your Fiverr page, they get a list of everybody else at the bottom that does the same thing you do. So now people can shop around.
Right.
So that's the other thing. So I'm still struggling a little bit with that, but my whole thing is, look, if you're going to charge what you charge on your website, you're going to charge the same thing on Fiverr, don't cheapen yourself or whatever, then, might be something to think about doing.
Right. The only, as far as there's actually now a whole lot of professional talent on Fiverr.
Yeah.
Now, don't get me wrong. They're still outnumbered by the amateurs.
The amateurs, yes. But you can spot the ones that are really...
Yeah. There's 3 or 4 guys on there that I'm like, Jesus.
Yeah.
How are you? How in the name of God? Their lowest rate, their lowest amount, that they'll do work for is like 200. Is their lowest on there. And they're getting, you can see how many reviews that they have and how much they get. And they haven't been on there as long as I have.
Yeah.
And every month I'm reevaluating all my stuff and, charging, more for this and charging more for that.
Right.
As far as my commercial stuff, I try to charge more for the commercial stuff because it's more complicated. The clientele is normally a company as opposed to an individual. When it's like me doing impressions for Donald Trump, which is my big one, that's kind of like my bread and butter right now. For a dude, normally for the Donald Trump, it's like they're just trying to get a happy birthday message or greeting for a family member, or they want something for their phone call, their voicemail. So I don't normally charge that much for those, but when it comes to commercial, you really need to charge more. There was someone I had heard, I don't remember who it was, but there was some talent on Fiverr. It was actually really good and professional, and they had actually gotten a Screen Actors, a SAG, a union project through there, and they got charged industry prices. So to say that through Fiverr,
exactly.
The person had just saw their stuff, contacted them, they worked out the details. He signed the NDA, It's not just because it's an online platform.
Yep.
Doesn't mean that it's not a way of getting work. Most people nowadays in the industry, the big voice actors, they mostly get their work through friends and through people they've worked with before,
and they live in LA or they live in New York.
Or contracts that they have with big companies to basically say that they are their guy. Like anyone who works with Warner Brothers or Disney, they basically have a contract that they are the licensed voice for that character until they die. Like the guys who do Daffy Duck, basically they have a contract with Warner Brothers that they will be the only person to do Daffy Duck in America. Each country that does cartoons for Warner Brothers, if they have a Daffy Duck, they have a licensed Daffy Duck for that country. Like if there's a Daffy Duck, if they dub it in China, there will be a licensed voice actor in China to do Daffy Duck. So that's how it works, and they can only do work through that guy, and they get paid an insane amount.
Yeah.
So most guys in the industry, in the professional industry, it's not a struggle for them.
Yeah.
It's not a matter of,
exactly.
I don't understand why dudes in the major industry are really upset with the little guys getting the little work.
That's amazing.
The smaller jobs. Because, it's not even jobs that they would even take. That client could never afford them. And it's not, they're not even going to be making billions off that product.
Right.
So it always blows my mind, that they would, like if someone was doing a Flash game for, online, and they're not making any money, they're just putting it on Newground, which I think is like a Flash game server or something like that. And they just needed, voiceover, and it's completely free and it's really low quality, and they're not even making anything off it. It's just kind of like a fun project, and they wanted to pay someone $10 to do 100 words.
Yeah,
that's fine. It's not that big a deal.
I know, right?
It doesn't cheapen the industry, because there's always going to be that next
there's different
tier,
levels, exactly.
That next level.
There's all those different tiers that are there, and I've talked about that a lot. The new voice actor is at a certain level. You get in for 2-3 years, you're at a whole nother level. You just continue to move up, and you raise your rates as you see fit. I actually think that people should raise their rates a lot quicker than what they do, if they have the skill, the gear, and the talent to be able to pull this thing called voiceover off. But so many of us doubt ourselves, because we do a demo and we put it out and we want everybody to say it's great. I think what was so funny, when I sent you my first character demo, I said, I worded it specifically. I didn't say, hey, tell me what you think. I said, I need you to rip this apart.
To which I did. More than happily.
That was apparent.
It was a minute demo. It was like a 1 minute, 15-second demo. And it took us like 7-10 minutes to go over. No, it was longer than that. It was like 15 minutes to go over that entire thing. For each second was like almost like a minute of conversation.
Yeah.
So it was, I mean, that's what you wanted. I went into it. I listened to it a couple of times. Then we listened to it live.
Yeah.
And it's character work is something that I do a lot, and it is something that I understand. It's not something that I'm well known for. I mean, there are people that come to me regularly, and there are people that know me. But I'm not going to say that I'm the best at character work by any stretch.
Well,
of the imagination. There's lots of voices
said it a couple times. So.
Yeah, there's a couple of voices that I can clearly not do. There's some roles that I wouldn't audition. There are roles that I would love to audition for. They're ones that, no one would look at me or hear my natural voice and go, yo, yeah, that dude can totally do it. Like Thing from Fantastic Four. I would love to audition for Thing. Even though my voice would fit more like Johnny, the Human Torch, just because it has that young, high energy, fun vibe. I was like, nah, I would love to do Thing, just because I don't look like Thing. I could never go in to a film audition and audition for Thing.
People be like, oh, hell no. He's not.
Yeah. They would see me. They go, no. You go ahead and get out of here. We're not doing Mole Man right now. We're not auditioning for the Mole Man or whatever. You need to get out of here, you nerd.
But I mean, the whole thing about the character thing or the demos, like when I brought up what I asked you to do for me was because we spend so much time being judged and we're afraid and we think less of ourselves. A lot of voice actors don't even realize they are freaking talented because they do something that I tell people not to do. Never sit back and wait for someone to give you permission to be great. Just go and do it. You don't need anyone's permission. That's why people don't like me a lot, because I didn't get permission. And you didn't get permission. You said, screw the industry. I'm doing this thing, on my own. And so we take a lot of criticism. And if you are scary or scared of putting yourself out there and being vulnerable, you will never be great in this until you just put yourself out there and be vulnerable.
Right. There seems to be two major negatives in the industry, and that people think that they're both important, but people think that if they approach or get confronted by one, that they should just shut down. And one is that you have to get out there and you have to take criticism, a lot of criticism. And people think they're like, oh, I don't want to take the criticism, so they'll just back away.
Yeah.
Or they'll, you have to, have a professional sound. Well, you don't know what that sounds like yet. You don't have a professional sound, but you still have to get out there and you still have to learn what's wrong with your sound, and you have to improve and you have to get better. Or you have to audition. You have to audition, and then they're like, well, I'm not getting any work. Well, then get better and keep taking auditions. So people keep seeing these negatives, major criticism and the struggle, and they don't want to do that, and so they'll like back away.
Yeah.
There's a couple sites where, and I actually talk about this one. There's one casting call club or something like that.
I think I heard you mention that.
Yeah, and there was some people who do character work or character voice acting. I don't know if they get work, but there's a lot of people that were talking about it, and there's a lot of people that don't actually get work that are on the site.
Right.
And it's supposed to be, I saw the guys who had actually created the site, and the guys who actually created the site were character voice actors.
Okay.
And they wanted a platform that was just for character work, which is a good idea. It's a good, that's a good thing to do. Because all the other sites are mostly commercial with maybe 2 or 3 character auditions a week.
Yeah, right,
which is not something to sustain a character voice actor. So they had this one platform, but it ended up being more of just this Facebook community rather than an actual professional platform. Okay. And so what you'd have is a lot of amateur voice actors go on there, and they have headset mics or those little tiny USB mics.
Yeah.
And they're doing auditions on there, and the auditions are the audio is either too quiet, blown out, full of noise and echo, or they have very lame, the whole time. Or they just have there's no pop filters. You're just getting, or you're hearing the fan and all this kind of stuff. And it's one of the problems that I have with that site, even though I like why it was created. I love what it's for. There needed to be a little bit more, a little bit more of a filter going through, and there needed to be a little bit more criticism. Because a lot of the people, if you go on there and you try to give pointers, I've tried to give pointers to people on there, about their demos. I'll hear it and I'll try to message them, privately and hey, you should do this, and they go, what do you know? And they just all uppity and defensive, and stuff like this, and I'm like, well, your entire audio was blown out, okay? It peaked like crazy. No one could hear what you were saying. It's hurting people's ears. I'm just telling you, normalize it to -3 dB. That's all I'm saying.
Right.
Then we'll at least be able to hear how bad your audition is. But and on that kind of website where it's not a real professional website, you're getting people that are going on there not actually taking any criticism, not ready for criticism, and they're not getting a genuine idea of what the industry is and what to expect in the industry. So they're going in, they're expecting their friends to thumb up and thumbs down, and I'm a professional now. No, you're not.
No,
You're very not, and your constant auditioning and thinking that you're doing a good job is actually doing worse for you. So I wish there was more of a animation and character and gaming audition platform that was a little bit more professional than that.
Definitely, yeah.
Because it's a huge industry. It's a huge industry, and most
Right.
of big games are going to like the same 10 guys over and over and over again, which is not bad. They're all amazing. Fenoy.
Dave
What's
Fennoy.
his?
Dave
Dave
Fennoy.
Fenoy. Oh, dude, amazing.
Yeah, awesome.
Amazing guy. I think I got one of his audiobooks at one point in time. Him and a couple others. And there was actually and he was talking about like really getting into character, and it's one of the things that I've really like captured and basically treat your acting as if you're in front of a camera and not in front of a microphone. Great guy. And then there was another guy, I don't remember his name, but I listened to his audiobook, and he said one thing that's kind of like the direction that I'm going is, if you can't get your name out there and you can't get auditions, make your own work.
Yes.
And for character work, it would be a matter of, make your own cartoons. They don't have to be complicated. They don't have to be, most film and most cartoons is like 90% audio. That makes it good.
South Park.
They
barely, they move like this, it's like,
Oh my God. And those guys made their own cartoon, and they now, own a company. Same thing with Seth MacFarlane. And not Seth. Is it Seth MacFarlane? I think it is.
That made South Park. Yeah.
Yeah. No. He didn't make South Park.
Not South Park, but Family Guy.
Family Guy. He did his own cartoons. Same guy who did not the same guy, but also the guy who did Rick and Morty.
Oh.
He did a really low budget, quality cartoon, and he did all the voices and basically kept pitching this to people that were at his level. And
I'm going to stop you right there, because when you talk about, this is how ridiculously easy this would be to do. Everybody is so worried about getting a deal on TV when YouTube is right here. And YouTube is the thing that can launch you. You've got people on TV that want to be YouTube stars.
You have people on TV that are not getting views on television. Like
exactly.
all of the news networks
exactly
are not getting any views. They're not. They have their ratings are down. They're not getting any views. But they're posting stuff online, which they're getting more views.
Exactly. And when movies are out here, different things that are being done, whether it's on Netflix, Hulu, ABC, whatever, and they're
I still need to buy stocks in Netflix.
You know what I'm saying? It's like they're looking for actors and actresses with a following on social media, because they know they have instant audience.
Right.
Right. You've got to, if you build your audience and your brand online, YouTube, whatever, there's a lot of doors you can open for yourself if you're willing to do it and have patience to build it.
Right. Yeah. That's another thing, is patience.
Yeah.
Patience and taking criticism and this hard work. Those are the three things that will get you anywhere.
Exactly.
Anywhere. Anything that you want. What is it? Like you have to dedicate, 1,000 hours
to be an expert?
To get good at, I don't know if it was to be an expert.
I think it's 10,000 to be expert, I think.
To be an expert. I think it was just 1,000 to get good at it. To be an expert that's like, you got to keep going.
Again, that's what she said, but yeah.
So YouTube, I do a lot of voices, and I show, a professional microphone, and I have a professional setup, and I try to do good audio so people can see
exactly
that, I actually know what I'm talking about, and that I do voiceover, and people watch those. And there's been a few people that have seen my stuff on Facebook, that know I do a Donald Trump or whatever, and they've actually hired me. There was actually one gig that I finished last night. Someone was doing some YouTube project, and they needed a Donald Trump, and so they saw my stuff, thought it was hilarious. They contacted me. I sent them a fee, or I sent them an invoice.
Yeah.
They booked me, and I sent it to them in a couple of days. So make your own work. Get out there. Like really show people what you can do, who you are, and that you're good at what you do. And take the criticism. You're going to post it up there. You're going to take criticism. There's not one video I've put online in the past 10 years that hasn't gotten a lot of thumbs down.
Wow.
There's not one video up there that is 100% liked. If it's been up there
Okay.
for a month or two, it's going to get a thumbs down at some point in time. And I know that. And someone is going to criticize something in there, and I'm ready for it.
Yeah.
And then I take it, I listen to it. A lot of times I'll try contacting them, like, okay, what exactly did you not like? What would you like to see changed? Most of the time it's just people just who are unhappy. They're seeing someone that's actually
doing something
and being productive and actually making a living, and they're miserable because they don't want to do the hard work, and so they're just trying to bring you down. It's the bully tactic thing.
Yeah.
And if you know that they're more miserable than you'll ever be, just because you're happy, then don't worry about it. Just listen to what they're saying. Everybody, even the trolls, have something that you can learn from.
Absolutely.
And it doesn't matter. Even when you get up to the point that you are the number one at whatever it is you do, you can always listen to the criticism or point of view of anyone beneath you. Yeah. I think one of my biggest role models as far as like how to build an industry, build a company or getting in the industry is actually King Solomon.
Okay.
Because the wisest king in history, supposedly, one of the biggest empires, almost ruled over the all the known world. He still had royal advisors.
Exactly.
He still had people beneath him to give him criticism and feedback, and tell him like, hey, why don't you try this instead? And he listened to them. Right. And he was a good king. And you see that a lot in history. A lot of the better kings, a lot of the better businessmen, a lot of the better actors had people that were technically beneath them or not as high up. And they listened to them. They listened to their point of view.
And it probably helped, too, that he had over 1,000 wives and concubines. That was probably...
If he's just splashed out, then,
That's all good.
700 wives. We don't know I don't know how many on the concubines, but it's 700 wives.
Yeah.
Well. Which, by the way, dear God, man, calm down. First of all, that's 700. I mean, if it was 365 and you timed it out, their period kind of like doesn't match up, like it's always overlapping. Like that's one thing.
That don't make sense.
700.
That's just bragging.
You have the majority hating you in a day. Okay. You've done something.
Yeah, especially when there's only 850 women in the group anyway. So, in the nation. But well,
the rest of the dudes on Tinder, they're just like taking. Jesus, taking. Who is this guy? Taking.
Right.
I always had this bit. It was a very old bit where I King Solomon in my head was Sean Connery because he was really old.
Oh my gosh!
Getting more women. Yes, right there. Yes, come over here to be part of my concubine. Let's go. Just like it's like he was grocery shopping. Just point at you. I'll take you, and I'll take you, and I'll take you. You over there. Come on.
Oh my gosh.
Which reminds me, I haven't done any impressions this entire time.
Yeah, I know. Really, you've kind of held back. You've been so serious.
It.
Yeah, you've been talking like a real voice actor professional here.
Just like I know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, But well, look.
Speaking of great businessmen, I'm amazing, fantastic. I am the best businessman. I mean, I'm the president, by the way. I'm the president. So I'm just saying.
Well,
I'm just
Donald.
really humble.
Donald, the thing is, you're the president now. I mean, Michelle and I. We have some very serious things that, we've wanted to bring to this nation. But the things that you've done, you really are a turd sandwich. And I don't know how else.
I know you, Robert. What am I? I know you, Robert. What am I?
That sounds like something you would say at some point in time.
Yeah. We should have done a reverse roll on that. I should have been Trump. You should have been Obama. But
we could have. I mean, if you do a Trump, go for it. I'll do the Barack Obama. That was actually really depressing because I did George W. Bush for stand-up comedy. It was a lot of fun. But when it went to Barack Obama, I was actually really disappointed because I was like, it's not funny.
Yeah. Yeah.
It was like, he's the straight guy in every conversation.
He is the straight guy in every conversation.
That's why Key and Peele had to introduce his anger translator.
Yeah.
Because Barack Obama himself wasn't funny. Like every president before Barack Obama, hilarious.
Can make fun, yeah.
You had Bill Clinton, George Bush Sr., Nixon, Reagan, etc. They were all
Jimmy
hilarious.
Carter,
they all had and then you get to Barack Obama, and it was just a dry spell. of like, well, I guess comedy's over for a while. And then we get to Trump and we're
At least
like,
on SNL. But
I guess that's what happens when you have a dry spell. It just downpours.
oh my gosh. Well, look, Timmy, I'm going to wrap this up, but I want you to go ahead and let folks know how they can get in contact with you. I'm going to be putting links in the description below that are going to, link to your YouTube and your website. But if people want to connect with you, what should they do?
Well, probably the easiest and the fastest is going to be YouTube.
Okay.
I mean, that's where I am the majority of the time. Funny Guy Timmy is the YouTube channel. If you do want to contact me through Twitter, same handler as Funny Guy Timmy, and then the Funny Guy Timmy Facebook page, which is just where I kind of I'm trying to update for future events on there or be a little bit more community. So basically just type in Funny Guy Timmy. I'm the only one. I need to trademark it. And you'll find me.
And Funny Guy Timmy, what is your what's your website address, by the way?
For voiceover, it is tbvo.net. That would be the professional, the big boy website.
Okay. That's the big boy website.
tbvo.net. I tried to keep it simple.
Gotcha. Well, look, man, I appreciate your time being on with me today.
Yeah, but a pleasure.
And we're going to have to do this again. Just start this thing going. We'll just have to have these conversations, which I think are important. I'm going to love taking a look at the comments that are going to come in.
Yeah. If y'all have any questions and would like to see us do this again, leave those questions down below.
Or if you absolutely hated it and never want to see us again.
By all means,
please, let us know.
Please. Oh, just honey on the tip of my tongue.
Oh, man. Well, look, hang on for me. I'm going to play my exit video here, and I'll be right back with you. But once again, everybody, thanks again to Timmy for being on with us today and just sharing his knowledge and experience with us through the voiceover industry. And I'll see you guys next time. You take it easy.
Cheers.